दो तीन दिन की बारिशों के बाद इस सुहानी शाम में आप सब लोगों को, जो हमें ऑनलाइन देख रही हैं, द ब्लैक होल में खुशामदीद। वेल, फ्रॉम एंशियंट आर्मीज टू मॉडर्न ई कॉमर्स एंड सोशल मीडिया, द एबिलिटी टू एक्सचेंज information securely has been of vital importance. Today, we are going to explore the fascinating ways math can be used to exchange confidential information, and we are going to deep dive into the enigmatic world of cryptography and beyond. We are very glad to have the organizers of LUMS Math Circles and Open Math Circle with us. मेरे दाएं जानिब तशरीफ़ फरमा है इमरान अनवर और अदनान खान. They both are associate professors at Sayyid Babar Ali School of Science and Engineering at LUMS, that is Lahore University of Management Sciences. और आप जो हैं फाउंडर एंड ऑर्गेनाइज़र हैं ऑफ लम्स मैथ सर्कल्स के. मेरे बाएं जानिब तशरीफ़ फरमा है डॉक्टर नकीबुर रहमान, मैथमेटिशियन है, एंड यू आर रनिंग ओपन मैथ सर्कल. तीनों जो हमारे ये मेहमान और तीनों जो दोस्त हैं, ये मुख्तलिफ़ तालीमी इदारों में मैथ सर्कल, सेमिनार्स, वर्कशॉप्स और टॉक्स जो है वो मुनक़िद कराते रहते हैं. और अगर आपको मैथमेटिक्स जो है वो बोरिंग या खुश्क मज़मून दिखाई देता है, तो मुझे उम्मीद है कि इनकी टॉक्स अटेंड करने के बाद आपका तासुर जो है बड़ी हद तक बदल जाएगा. प्लीज़ डू अस अ फेवर एंड टर्न योर सेल फोन्स टू साइलेंट मोड अनलेस यू हैव हैप्पी बर्थडे रिंग टोन, क्योंकि नकीब जो है उनकी आज बर्थडे है, तो ये हमने आज एक्सेप्शन रखी है. लेकिन इसके अलावा आपके सेल फोन साइलेंट ही हो. जब हाउस ओपन हो फॉर क्वेश्चन आंसर एंड ओपन डिस्कशन, प्लीज़ आप उसमें ज़रूर शरीक होइएगा. जस्ट रेज योर हैंड फर्स्ट, ताकि आपको माइक्रोफोन दे दिया जाए. मेरा ख्याल है और तो कोई पॉइंट नहीं रह गया. नाउ प्लीज़ वेलकम इमरान अनवर, अदनान खान एंड नकीबुर रहमान. थैंक यू.
Okay, this is an interactive activity. Firstly, I advise all the online participants and the participants who are present here, grab a paper and a pen. So you have to solve a lot of things today. And I request the organizer to give this particular wheel to everyone. Maybe अभी इसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है, लेकिन शायद थोड़ी देर में पड़े. Okay. So ये सारे लवाज़मात अभी अपने पास ही रखिएगा, तो ताकि जब वो when we start the activity, just wait for the slides to show. Okay. All set? Okay. This particular math circle is about codes, cipher, and other mysteries. So we will try to explain कि basically coding theory, cipher, और encryption decryption में mathematics कहाँ पे use होता है. And particularly you might have came across quite concepts in mathematics. People talk about कि numbers कहाँ पे use होते हैं. मैथमेटिक्स के बहुत ही बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट हैं जिसको फैक्टराइजेशन ऑफ इंटीजर्स कहते हैं, जो सबसे पहली चीज़ जो आप स्कूल्स अरिथमेटिक्स में आप लोग सीखते हैं. सो हाउ दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग बिकम अ सीरियस बिजनेस ऑफ क्रिप्टोग्राफी, सो दैट इज समथिंग वी आर गोइंग टू demonstrate and explain. So like any other activity in mathematics in math circle, let's start with some warm-up exercise. Okay, you can see some circles on the screen. So the first question is, just looking at this particular screen, look it very carefully, only the first row. Can you identify what is going on? Anyone in the house? So okay. So there are some circles which are solid. Some circles are split, then solid, then split with these two colors, then solid, then three splits, and this pattern goes on. Did anyone get the idea? Okay, there is one circle which is missing, so just take it off. Okay, let me explain. So this is numbers. This is the hint. This is your integers. So 1 is not there. Now this is 2, 3. So 4 mean 2 times 2. So that's why I double split there. Then 5 solid. 6 mean 2 times 3. Okay. 7 8, and 3 times 3, 9, and then 10. Okay, so I think now everyone understand what is there. So basically, what we have done, so we just encoded the primes into colors and just encode the numbers into form of the color, and everything, so every number, every integer, positive integer can be represented in the form of the number. By the way, this is not done by me. This is Enrich Math, which is a Cambridge website. So this is a very good exercise that they have made many important exercises, and this is among those. But this is the first thing. We can encode number in any way. So this circle, division, factorization is quite important, and you can note this particular website and one can do it. Now, the serious thing is, so what I have done, what has been done, this is encode numbers in the sense of the numbers, in the sense of the circles and divisions of the circle. So just quick warm up. Can you tell me what is this number? Just quickly. So yellow mean 2. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13, 13, 50. 13 multiplied by 4, it's 52, right? Okay, so far, so good. I hope everyone is with me now. Okay, now is a serious challenge. Can you decode this message? This is a serious message. So everything is there. So just you have to decode. Race against the time now. Your time starts now. So one can tell, okay, what is this? 5. Okay, the first number is 5. What is this one? So don't multiply, you can just tell the factors. 3 factors, 3 times 3 times 3.
27 times 4.
4. 27 times 4. That's okay. What is this?
7.
So, yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, 7, sorry. Not 7, 7, 7. Oh, they are quite similar. This is 7. Okay. What is this one? Red and aqua. Here is aqua. Okay. So this is 19 multiplied by 3. And similarly, two green and 1 yellow. 2 parrot green and yellow. So where is the parrot green? So it is here. So this is 17 multiplied by 17 multiplied by 2. This is just a warm up, nothing else. So this is 5, 108, 7, 57, 578. This is the easiest way you can encode any number, but in the form of the language of colors and division of the circle. Okay, this is a very good mental exercise. Please, you can, any online participant and any in-person participant, they can take the picture of this particular page for home exercises. This is not the one we are going to discuss here. Can you anticipate how many circles in the whole t-shirt mean the whole diagram? The whole t-shirt will split into 6 sections. So how many are there who splits into 6 circles? Can you anticipate how many circles will split into 5 sections?
Imran, you also have to tell them there's an upper bound on the numbers. The numbers, go
sorry.
from.
Yeah. So it starts from 2, and what is this number? 100. So inside, all these questions, thank you Adnan, all these questions are in between 2 and 100. So how many are there with the 6 segments? How many are there? So to be very honest, this is simple school level algebra. It's just a factorization of numbers. But fortunately or unfortunately, such kind of scenarios haven't been discussed in any exercises. Okay? So thank you, Adnan. So can you anticipate how many circles will be split into 5 sections? And similarly, can you anticipate how many circles will be split into 4 sections? And by the way, who are the teachers? You can formulate as many questions as you want out of it. This is a just simple exercise. But in this first exercise, we have seen that we can hide numbers into colors and divisions of the circle in the terms of the factorization. So this is the key thing in mathematics, and particularly in the encryption and decryption. Now, do you know about cryptography and ciphertext? Okay.
Thank you, Imran. By the way, that Enrich program is Cambridge's more useful thing that we have in Pakistan. It's available, it's online for free. And we were just talking about Cambridge and about its various exams here, and not in a very positive way, but this is a good stuff. There's good things they do. So do go to the Enrich website. They have primary, secondary, and high school level problems done very nicely. So that was a small sort of glimpse of how to encode things. Encoding messages is the general field of cryptography. The cipher is very famous these days, so we won't talk about that cipher, but we'll talk about ciphertext. Okay, so there's another thing which you keep hearing these days, that's factoring large numbers, prime factorization of large numbers. It's sort of in the news, and you hear that these quantum computers will be able to factorize large numbers. So what's the deal? Who cares about factorization of large numbers, right? And we'll see why it's important in cryptography, and also that it's very hard to factorize. So you think, oh, what's the deal? 81, I know what the prime factors of 81 are. 705,324, I can prime factorize this as well. But the problem starts happening when you have numbers which are maybe 200 digits long or 250 digits long, and they don't have any small prime factors. The smallest prime factor is 120 digits long. What do you do then, right? So, so classically, there's a very classic algorithm. It's called the sieve of Aristophanes. And basically, if you want to find prime factors, you start with what's a good attack? A good attack would be, let's try all the numbers. Let's see if it's divisible by 2, by 3, by 5, by 7. How many of these would you have to try? Well, you'd have to, it turns out that the smallest prime factor has to be less than the square root of that number. Think about why. And that was the sieve, right? So, with this kind of an attack, and there's lots of them, they're called number sieves. I always go to Wikipedia to look at things which I don't know. It's very hard and cumbersome and time consuming to factorize large primes. In fact, I'll show you a website called Wolfram Alpha. You can type in a 140 digit long number and say factor, and in about 4 seconds or 3 seconds, it's going to give you the factors. But if you increase the length of your digits to around 180, Wolfram Alpha refuses to do anything. So the engine fails, right? It's hard to factorize really large numbers. But it turned out that in the 80s, there was this guy, Schur, who came up with an algorithm which could factorize large primes pretty quickly. It's called Schur's algorithm. There's a very nice video where Schur himself talks about how he came up with that algorithm. It's on YouTube. I watched it. I would encourage you to watch it too. But we are not going to go into the quantum computing world. We're just going to stay with the classical computers. And that's where we are practically right now. Nobody's used a quantum computer to factorize any big number. I think the last time I looked, that factorized 24 using quantum computers, right? And I'll talk a little bit towards the end about why it's very hard for quantum computers to actually practically work. There's lots of implementation issues. So we will see why this problem that it's hard to factorize really, really long numbers leads to a very efficient way of encoding messages, okay? That's the deal. So I'll talk about this later on, these two slides. So there are two ways of encryption. One is that both the person who codes and who decodes know the key. They know the key, and that's when you'd be able to encrypt or decrypt messages. These were all the well-known and older or ancient encryption algorithms. So these are private key encryption, because both people have to know the key. And the problem is, if I encode something and I want to send it to Hassan right here, then to decode, I also have to send him the key. And if I'm sending the key with Imran and he gets waylaid by this gentleman, what's your name? By Saad on the way, and Saad takes the key away, then the gig's up, right? So what do? So sending the key is a big problem, right, securely. So can you do without it? Well, with private key encryption, which we are going to talk about, we cannot. Both parties have to know the key. And then we'll talk about later on what are called trapdoor ciphers. So it's very easy to encrypt. Like a trapdoor, you can fall through it, but to get out, not so easy, right? And that's the public-private key. Everybody can encrypt. Only the chosen one can decrypt. So that was what I just talked about. So this is called symmetric cryptography, where both people have the key, the secret key. The other one, which we'll talk about later, is asymmetric or public-private key cryptography. So the first of these is, Imran, do you want to take over the anagrams? Okay. So our
Okay.
segue into
Again, before stepping into the business of encoding and decoding, there is a very, very simple thing. Firstly, we play with colors and numbers. Now let's play with alphabets. Okay, no math, nothing. So in simple English, the words are called anagrams. Anagram are the alphabets which are jumbled, but both are having some meaning in English. For instance, you can say silent can be reordered, the same alphabet with the meaning listen. Okay. Similarly, heart, earth, and you can see that melon is an anagram of lemon. Okay. So again, anyone who doesn't know anything about, okay, this is a kind of a cipher or cryptography which is being used in movies a lot. They use anagrams, and particularly anagrams does not require any serious mathematics. You just need to reorder the jumbled word. So for instance, this is a very quick exercise. Can you reorder panel to get any other number, any other alphabet, any other word? Yeah, plain. That's correct. We have chocolates, Adnan. Okay, anyone who gets the right answer, so that gentleman in white. Okay, now take your responsibility. Okay, cafe. Face. Now there are too many. If there are too many, no one gets it. No one gets it. Raise your hand. What is part? Oh, this gentleman. Okay, weird. Wired. Ma'am, snail. Nails. There are too many. Okay, meat. Team. So this code is quite weak. Everyone is state. Taste. Again this one. Okay. Now bread. Beard. Oh, from there. Inside. Okay. 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 Can you now please rearrange these jumbled words to get. Math is fun and challenging. Who said that? You. This gentleman in yellow.
who else?
Yellow. Man in yellow. Okay. Okay. This is, look, the easier code, it can be break by anyone. So one by
The treasure hidden within.
unlock the treasure hidden within. That's correct. Hassan is the champ.
Hassan, you have earned your second chocolate. I'm just keeping tabs so we don't run out of chocolates.
Okay. Now you have seen. Okay. By the way, these anagrams are school kids' secret coding, which is quite easy. Now I'm heading toward the most ancient one, the most old one is Julius Caesar.
Thank you, Imran. This is getting very interesting. Now let's talk about time and history. So जूलियस सीजर का नाम है हिस्ट्री में जो एंशंट मशहूर है, और इसका जो सीजर है उसके नाम से ही है, और आई थिंक जुलाई का नाम भी शायद जो मंथ जुलाई है उसका नाम भी इसी से ही है। तो जूलियस सीजर ने जो इंक्रिप्शन डिक्रिप्शन का जो फार्मूला यूज़ किया है उसके बारे में हम बात करते हैं, लेकिन उससे पहले थोड़ा सा आई थिंक बेसिक मैथमेटिक्स, ठीक है। बट यहाँ पे फॉर एग्जांपल कुछ नंबर्स हैं ऐड हो रहे हैं और उसका कुछ आंसर आ रहा है, तो इस हवाले से कोई हिंट क्या लग रहा है आपको? 3 + 12 इज इक्वल टू 3, और फिर आगे कौन सा है? बेस 12, वेरी गुड। ओके, अनदर चॉकलेट। ओके, सो सो द नेक्स्ट आंसर 4 + 9, इसका आंसर होगा 1, क्योंकि 13 होगा, और 13 अंडर मॉड 12, क्योंकि ये टाइम से है, क्लॉक से है, क्लॉक के अंदर हम इसी तरह कैलकुलेशन करते हैं, ठीक है। तो ये अब ये काइंड ऑफ बेसिक मैथमेटिक्स है बेस 12 के हवाले से। और नेक्स्ट लेट्स ट्राई दिस वन, एनी आइडिया? 30 + 40 बेस 60, अगेन दिस इज रिलेटेड टू टाइम, ठीक है। क्योंकि 30 + 40 जो है वो 70 होगा, तो फिर बेस 60 में फिर ये इक्विवेलेंट हो जाएगा 10 के इक्वल, ठीक है। और इसी तरह आगे भी बेस 60 है, जो कि अगेन टाइम से रिलेटेड है और हिस्टोरिकल भी है जो नंबर सिस्टम है। हाँ, अब ये किया जा सकता है, चॉकलेट इस पे मिल सकती है। 49 + 19, ओके, इज दिस ओके? ओके, okay, and then what about this one, third one? Okay, so I think you stole our slides. You already okay, so this one is again but ये लैंग्वेज से रिलेटेड, जो इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज है उसके अंदर चूँकि 26 अल्फ़ाबेट्स हैं, तो इसमें हमारे पास ये है। तो लास्ट एनीवन अदर देन हिम, इसका आंसर क्या होगा? ओके, 18, ओके, इमरान, इज इट
It's 42.
Okay.
42.
42 under mod
26.
26.
So it's 16.
Okay.
Who said that? Who said that? Yeah.
Okay, so catch it.
Okay.
So this was the basic mathematics.
देखिए, one very important thing is that, so it means कि जो लास्ट वाला देखें तो अल्फ़ाबेट्स को भी हम नंबर्स में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं। और नंबर 1, नंबर 2, मैं एक चीज़ क्लियर बता दूं कि यू माइट बी थिंकिंग अबाउट व्हाई देयर आर 60 मिनट्स इन 1 आवर, व्हाई देयर आर 60 सेकंड्स इन 1 आवर। Basically, this is due to Babylonians. They knows only sexadecimal numbers. Sexadecimal numbers are the one जिसकी base 60 थी. They only know this kind of math. This kind of math.
इमरान, थोड़ा सा आप आगे आएंगे?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. Just I want to include that this is the center line is the oldest mathematics known to us today, and this is the sexadecimal one. But the last one is the most important. What we need to understand. Okay. See.
तो इस मैथमेटिक्स को हम थोड़ी देर बाद मज़ीद डीकोड करते हैं, और जो इसके बीच इससे जो अलजेब्रा बन जाता है, जिससे अक्सर सवाल पूछा जाता है कि अलजेब्रा की एप्लीकेशंस क्या हैं, तो वो यहीं से आ जाती हैं, ठीक है, जो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट अलजेब्रा है नंबर्स का। तो अब यही है, जो हमारे पास अल्फ़ाबेट्स हैं उनकी कोडिंग या उनको नंबर कैसे हम असाइन कर सकते हैं। तो जिससे आई थिंक सीजर साइफर की तरफ हम चले जाएंगे, वो यही है कि हमारे पास 26 अल्फ़ाबेट्स हैं, लेकिन इसको हमने 0 से स्टार्ट किया, ठीक है, 1 to 26 नहीं किया। देयर इज़ अ वेरी गुड मैथमेटिकल रीजंस टू डू दिस, ठीक है। और ये जो 0 है ये बेसिकली 26 के इक्विवेलेंट ही होगा। तो ये हमारी ये कोडिंग होगी। अब इससे रिलेटेड हमारे पास सीजर जो अब हमारे पास ये है, आई थिंक सबके पास होगा। अब हम ये एक्टिविटी करने जा रहे हैं, ठीक है, इस कोडिंग से रिलेटेड। So these are the just mapping या असाइन कर रहे हैं हम इसमें अल्फ़ाबेट्स को नंबर्स के साथ असाइन कर रहे हैं, ठीक है। जस्ट सिंपल काउंटिंग है इसमें। ओके, सो अब हमारे पास ये है दिस वन। इमरान, अब आपकी हेल्प की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी दोबारा। ठीक है तो आई थिंक सबके पास ये है ऑलरेडी सीजर साइफर। ओके तो अब इस सीजर साइफर में वही है, प्लेन टेक्स्ट है और उसको हमने इनकोड करना है, इनक्रिप्ट करना है और फिर बाद में उसको डिक्रिप्ट करना है। और एंड पे हम ये भी बताएंगे कि इसके पीछे मैथमेटिक्स क्या है, इसका मैथमेटिकल फार्मूला क्या है, ठीक है, अंडर मॉड 26 क्या होगा, ठीक है। तो ओके फॉर एग्जांपल इमरान दिस वन।
Okay, everyone got this particular wheel? I'm sorry for the online participant. Okay, but this is easier to make. You just need to write the alphabets in a circular pattern. Now there are two. Firstly, dial को A में fix कर लें. Dial को A में. Now for decoding the first word, आपको A को B पे set करना है. So A को B पे आपने set कर दिया. Got it? डिसाइफर, मैं वही बताने लगा हूँ। ओके, अगर हम कोई मैसेज इनकोड करना चाह रहे हैं तो हम ग्रीन से येलो की तरफ पढ़ेंगे, ठीक है। लेकिन अगर कोई मैसेज हम डीकोड करना चाह रहे हैं तो येलो से ग्रीन की तरफ पढ़ेंगे। ग्रीन टू येलो इनकोडिंग एंड येलो टू ग्रीन डिकोडिंग। सो यहाँ पे डिसाइफर करना है हमें या डीकोड करना है हमें, तो हमें येलो से ग्रीन की तरफ पढ़ना है। सो एनीवन हु कम अप विद द डिसाइफर ऑफ BMBO. So B mean A.
Imran, could you also tell how the coding initially happened, right? A से
Yeah.
A मिलाया हुआ था आपने।
पहले A से A, okay, मैं वो सारी की सारी बात में, you would like to?
No, please.
Okay, let them figure out what is this? Alan Turing. So this is Alan Turing. Mohsin, no chocolate for you. Anyways, chocolate for him as well. So this is Alan Turing. Now, in order to decipher this, you have to move the dial to C. A को C पे move करते हैं. Okay?
पहले ओरिजिनल कॉन्फ़िगरेशन आने के बाद दोबारा से
हाँ, A को अब आपने C पे move कर दिया. Now read from yellow to green. Yellow to green. So E means C. U mean S. R mean P. Okay. Just tell me. इसमें था मसला।
इसमें भी error था।
या इसमें था। एक मिनट। Let me just correct it. EU. Brook. R. You should be on. Sorry, this is A to D. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for making the mess. A to D. A to D. A to D now. Yeah,
Okay.
A to D.
Can happen. The last one is correct. What about
Last one is correct, I think.
so then let's try.
Brook, exactly. Alan Turing, Brook. So A to D था यहाँ पे. Last one try करेंगे A to F. Brook के बाद ये दो है and then last one. हाँ, Brook, the Enigma code. Okay. Alan Turing broke the Enigma code. So whenever we talk about cipher, decipher, the real champ of this particular game is Alan Turing. And there is a beautiful movie which was mentioned by Hassan. And this is the imitation game. So we recommend the participant and the online participant to must watch this particular movie of the imitation game. Next one.
मैं इसमें थोड़ा सा ऐड कर दूं?
Yeah.
सो अब इसमें जो मैथमेटिक्स है ना, मैथमेटिक्स का जो पॉइंट है रेज करने का, या अब पहले केस में हम A टू B गए हैं, तो जो शिफ्ट किया है हमने उस कितने शिफ्ट किया, कितने वन, और दूसरे में अगर लेट्स से अगर A टू C भी है तो टू होगा, और लास्ट में आई थिंक 5 6 होगा, ठीक है। तो ये जो n नंबर है ना, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है। इससे कोई भी पर्टिकुलर अल्फ़ाबेट x को आप शिफ्ट करके उसमें जो भी एक फिक्स, एक टाइम पे जो फिक्स आपने रखना है n, उसको ऐड करना है, ठीक है। और जब डीक्रिप्ट करेंगे, इस केस में डीक्रिप्ट करेंगे तो क्या क्या होगा, ठीक है। वो जो नंबर है ना, वही n को माइनस करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है। तो ये इसमें मैथमेटिक्स का पार्ट है जो इम्पोर्टेंट है, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट, ओके, फॉर एग्जांपल दिस वन।
इसमें था
हाँ, इसमें
A to Y है,
A to Y.
प्लीज डायल को मूव कर दे A to Y,
Okay. So the
A
next
to
one is
Y.
next one A to Y.
and then try to answer. अच्छा,
A to Y. It's a very big jump.
draw, okay. Motion
Mm-hmm.
Figure होगा तो ड्रैग anticipated.
Keep trying. Chocolate is ready.
from the किसने क्या?
Draw from the
Draw from the interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
well
Yeah, draw from the well.
इमरान,
draw from the well.
इधर आइएगा बीच में. Okay,
Draw
that's
from
good.
the well.
That's good.
But yeah. So
But
the good thing is that कि कुछ लोग readily वाला करें, कुछ ये वाला करें, कुछ ये करें, कुछ ये करें. So code को break करने का, if you are working as a team, so different person should decode, decipher different words. So this is the way आप quickly कर जाएंगे उसको. Don't work in order. Yeah, draw from the well,
but
guard the.
guard the
Okay, this is a famous quotation. Draw from the
guard
well.
guard the bucket.
No,
Now,
नहीं, guard
no.
वो भी well था ना, draw from the well और end में भी well है. But guard the
अब एक
Water
well है,
well,
वो भी
water
आप
well.
ये इसको
water में इसमें 5 है. Guard the
किसी ने किया है ये वाला word decode?
Source कुछ
Source.
very good,
Yeah.
very good.
Very
So
good.
let's see it.
Draw from the well, but guard the source well.
Ah,
So
That's
wherever the information you are getting, you need to protect it.
okay.
Next time नहीं
What's
मिलेगी.
next? Okay,
And
this one.
in any case, okay.
ये A ही होगा पहला वाला.
पहला तो आ ही है.
हाँ.
Okay.
और वही है A to V करना है इसमें.
A to V करना है.
अच्छा. Okay.
So now you are going to be eligible for Caesar Army. Close.
नहीं, S
ठीक है. ये किसने कहा है? Close. बिल्कुल ठीक है. Okay. Close.
close
Close. Okay.
close तो नहीं हो सकते ना, इसमें 6 है ना.
It's okay.
6 से है ना इसके अंदर letters.
I believe.
S है.
क्लोज्ड होगा
Closed.
यही है ना
Closed.
Next,
Catch.
mouth.
Next.
Mouth.
A closed mouth catches no flies.
A closed mouth catches no flies.
Very good.
Exactly. A closed mouth catches no flies.
That's good.
Next.
Okay.
Okay, this one. नहीं मेरे ख्याल से
It's okay?
It's okay. I think you know
They got the
how
idea.
to use this particular wheel. So we need to attribute Julius Caesar now. So by the way, Julius Caesar was the famous Roman emperor, and I think you know that after Caesar, Roman Empire was simply वो partition हो गई थी. लेकिन Caesar was very genius, and he was the first one in the history who used these kind of things टू इनकोड और डीकोड और डिसाइफर मैसेजेस के लिए उसने सीजर व्हील बनाया था, लेकिन वो ग्रीक लेटर्स के साथ था। और यहाँ पे अब अभी भी हाई स्कूल, वो जो यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल पे जब भी कोडिंग पढ़ाई जाती है सबसे पहले इट स्टार्ट फ्रॉम सीजर साइफर। अब इस साइफर को ब्रेक करना इज़ एन ईजी टास्क। कहीं ना कहीं अगर आपको ये शिफ्ट ना भी पता हो तो कितनी ऑप्शन आप ट्राई करेंगे? आप बता सकते हैं? दिस इज़ व्हाट 26, यानी कि इट वाज नॉट एन इजी टास्क। इट इज़ अ वेरी इजी टास्क टू ब्रोक द सीजर साइफर। आपको 26 बंदे चाहिए होंगे, ए को कहें, ए को बी के साथ, एक सी के साथ, डी के साथ, एंड अल्टीमेटली 26 ट्राई के साथ आप बड़े आराम से उस मैसेज को डी कोड कर लेंगे। प्लीज़ साइफर और डी साइफर का ये सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आपका जो कोड है वो कितना को स्ट्रॉन्ग है। उसके बाद एक बंदा आया था, ओके वैसे बाय द वे ये ट्राई करना है? नो, पिछला वाला था। आप लोग ट्राई करेंगे। इसमें ना ये है कि आप अपने कोड को किस तरीके से और ज़्यादा लेयर्ड कर सकते हैं। अभी तक का हमारा लर्न नॉलेज क्या था? हमने एनाग्राम सीखे थे, फिर सीजर साइफर आ गया, तो एनाग्राम और सीजर साइफर का जम्बल्ड है। सो यहाँ पे आप पहले सीजर साइफर लगा के आप डिकोड करेंगे, लेकिन वो डायरेक्टली वो मैसेज नहीं होगा, वो एनाग्राम होगा, जम्बल्ड वर्ड होगा। उस जम्बल्ड वर्ड को आपने दोबारा से करना है। सो एक कर दें, कुछ लोग पहले वाले को करें, कुछ इसको करें, कुछ इसको करें और कुछ इसको करें। प्लीज़ सेलेक्ट योर वर्ड एंड ताकि हम जल्दी से इस टास्क को कर लें और वी मूव टू द नेक्स्ट वन। एंड मैं फिर बता दूं, ये डायरेक्टली कोड नहीं आएगा। जो मैसेज आएगा उसको जम्बल्ड है, उसको आपको ऑर्डर में लेकर आना है। एक्सक्लेमेशन को वो पता लग जाएगा जब ट्रांसलेशन आएगी। तो एक्सक्लेमेटरी नोटेशन क्यों है यहाँ पे? ओके, दिस इज अ मैथ क्लास। हाँ, क्या था ये? कहाँ पे, कौन से वाले का? थर्ड वन, दिस इज हुर्रा। ओके, दैट्स व्हाई एक्सक्लेमेटरी मार्क बनता है हुर्रा के साथ। ओके, अदर किसी ने किया है कोई? दिस वन और दिस वन? एनीवेज, वी आर रनिंग आउट ऑफ टाइम। एनीवन? ओके, should I move forward? Yeah, okay. Anyways, जब आप करेंगे तो ये सिंपल, अब आपने देखा, सिर्फ ये बताना था कि सीजर साइफर के साथ सिर्फ एनाग्राम लगाया तो थोड़ा सा क्रैकिंग डिफ़िकल्ट हो गई, थोड़ी सी। अब इसमें 26 है। फिर उसके बाद एक साहब आए जो कि रोमन एम्पायर के बाद फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन में, और फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन में भी इनकोडिंग और डिकोडिंग के लिए सीजर का व्हील यूज़ होता रहा है काफ़ी अरसे तक। लेकिन ही वॉज अ डिप्लोमेट एंड ही फेल्ट दैट कि इट इज़ वेरी इजी टू ब्रेक। इसका नाम विग्नर था एंड विग्नर वॉज अ फ्रेंच डिप्लोमेट। मेरे ख्याल से वो अदनान ने शुरू में बात की थी। अब आपको ये तो पता लग गया कि साइफर और डी साइफर सबसे ज़्यादा डिप्लोमेट्स यूज़ करते हैं डिप्लोमेट लैंग्वेज में। अब तो पूरे पाकिस्तान को पता है साइफर वाला रोला। तो एनीवेज, ही इन 1585 सीइंग कि ये वाला जो साइफर है दिस इज़ नॉट सो स्ट्रॉन्ग, अब बड़े आराम से डी साइफर हो सकता है, ही इन्वेंटेड अ न्यू इंक्रिप्शन एंड उसमें फर्स्ट टाइम पब्लिक की का और सीक्रेट की टर्म यूज़ हुई थी विग्नर साइफर ने। और ये सबसे पहले पब्लिक की, प्राइवेट की जो है या सीक्रेट की जो है ये विग्नर ने यूज़ की थी। और इसका करने का तरीका ये था एग्जैक्टली वही जो अभी थोड़ी देर पहले नकीब आपको बता के गए थे। ए को ज़्यूम कर लें 0, फिर ये 1 से लेके 25 तक। 0 + 0 इज इक्वल टू 0, 1 + 0 इज इक्वल टू 1, 1 + 1 इज इक्वल टू 2. You understand? So in this way you build the whole table of the addition of alphabets. Just आपने alphabets को 0, 1, 2 एंड 3 की है. सो यानी कि 2 प्लेस वाला अल्फ़ाबेट को अगर मैं 5 से ऐड करूँगा तो 7 प्लेस वाला अल्फ़ाबेट आएगा. एंड दिस इज़ अ वेरी सिंपल, यानी कोई हाई लेवल मैथ नहीं है. जैसे आपने नंबर्स को एलोकेट कर दिया हर अल्फ़ाबेट को. दिस इज़ व्हाट विग्नर डिड एट दैट टाइम. और दिस इज़ अ सिंपल टेबल जो कि उसने यूज़ किया था. और करने का तरीका ये था कि जो सीक्रेट की है वो आपके पास है यहाँ पे कंप्यूटर सेट के. आपकी मर्ज़ी, आप जौन सा मर्ज़ा सीक्रेट की रख लें. ये सीक्रेट मैसेज है, यू कैन ट्रस्ट मी. अब मुझे उसको इनकोड करना है और मेरे पास की जो है वो कंप्यूटर है. आप क्या करेंगे, जो सीक्रेट मैसेज है उसके नीचे आप कंप्यूटर लिख देंगे. जहाँ पे ख़त्म होगा दोबारा से कंप्यूटर लिखना शुरू करेंगे. गॉट इट? एंड देन आपने इन नंबर्स को ऐड करना है. y प्लस सी, लुकिंग एट द सेम टेबल जो कि ऊपर गिवन था. सो देर इज c एंड देर इज y को c में ऐड करें तो दिस टर्न्स आउट टू बी a. जस्ट रीड दिस टेबल. एंड बाय द वे, बिल्डिंग दिस टेबल इज़ नॉट अ डिफिकल्ट टास्क. सो y को c में ऐड किया a, o को o में. सो यू कैन सी वंस अगेन o एंड यहाँ से ये o plus o is c. So you can see that o plus o is c. And similarly, you can do it with other. So ultimately, your secret message, by using a secret key, turn into a public key. Now, this particular message, whoever read cannot decipher. वो decipher नहीं कर सकता until unless उसको secret key पता हो. एंड नाउ रिसीवर ने अगर अपना मैसेज डी कोड करना है या डी साइफर करना है विग्नर साइफर से, सो वो ये करेगा, जस्ट कंप्यूटर सब्ट्रैक्ट करेगा उसमें से. अब सब्ट्रैक्शन भी वैसे ही है, अल्फ़ाबेट्स वाली है. एंड यू गो अगेन बाय यू लुकिंग एट द टेबल. क्या माइनस करना था? ओके, सो ए माइनस सी करना है और हाउ इट इज़ कमिंग एज ए. सो आपने सी को ए में देखना है. सी के ओके, सी वाली रो में ढूंढें ए किधर है. सो ए इज़ हेयर, सो इसके कॉरस्पॉन्डिंग दिस इज़ वाई. दिस इज़ द वे टू सब्ट्रैक्ट द टू नंबर्स. ओके, एंड जस्ट यूज़ अगेन द सीक्रेट मैसेज जो आपके पास सीक्रेट की है और उसमें से जो पब्लिक की में से उसको सब्ट्रैक्ट कर देंगे. यू कैन डिसाइफर या डी कोड द ओरिजिनल मैसेज. और एंड नाउ कैन यू टेल मी कि ये जो मेथड है ये कितना को स्ट्रॉन्ग है? कैन एनीवन डिसाइफर इट? अगर किसी को सीक्रेट की नहीं पता और सीक्रेट की आपकी मर्ज़ी की है, आप अपनी मर्ज़ी से बना सकते हैं जो भी है. यहाँ पे सीक्रेट की कंप्यूटर है. नेक्स्ट, बाय द वे, यू कैन टेक द पिक्चर्स ऑफ इट एंड द सीक्रेट की इज़ मैथ सर्कल्स. ओके, बाय यूजिंग द मैथ सर्कल्स यू नीड टू decode the given messages, and in messages को by using the Wigner table, and please Wigner table आपको मिल भी जाएगा अल्फ़ाबेट्स का, आप खुद कंस्ट्रक्ट भी कर सकते हैं. दिस इज़ द बेसिक एप्लीकेशन. अब यहाँ पे जितने मैथमेटिक्स के स्टूडेंट बैठे हुए हैं जो अंडर ग्रेड लेवल के हैं या इंटर भी के भी जो स्टूडेंट हैं, डू यू नो व्हाट, वेयर डिड यू सी दिस सच अ टेबल इन मैथमेटिक्स? क्लोजर प्रॉपर्टी जो ग्रुप थ्योरी में केले टेबल बनाते हैं, राइट? एंड केले टेबल ग्रुप थ्योरी, people see there is no application. Now you can see that this application appeared in 1558. Encoding and decoding, people were using it. And this is a very, very successful code. अब मैं ये बता दूं कि जब तक कंप्यूटर ईरा नहीं आया था, ज़्यादातर डिप्लोमेट्स यही कोडिंग और इनकोडिंग और डिकोडिंग यूज़ करते रहे, पर्टिकुलरली फ्रेंच ईरा में भी. एंड नाउ वी आर ओके. इसके आंसर्स भी मैं लिख देता हूँ. Okay, Pakistan beat India. The next one is mathematics is cool. A cipher is a labyrinth. And the encryption genie is out of the bottle now. Now, because I say that the encryption genie is out of the bottle, now I have to call upon Adnan to take you further. This is all the classical one, but the most latest one, which is being used, is the RSS, and he is going to explain.
जब वोल्फ्राम पे मॉड करना हो ना, could you go and type in there when okay, you know, that would be. Thank you, Imran. Thank you especially for calling me a genie. And so this was something that came out in 1976. there were two computer scientists, Diffie and Hellman, who came up with a nice paper, and they came up with the idea of how you could have a trapdoor cipher. What I explained, that it's easy to encode, difficult to decode, and then of course their idea was turned into a very popular algorithm by these three gentlemen right here, Roundabout Adi Shamir and Leonard Edelman, and it's called RSA because here's the R, there's the S, and there's the A. And well, if you're not in the community, you might have still heard of RSA, but and Diffie and Hellman are not that well known. I had a little slide about that which I lost somewhere. So, all right. So let's dive into the algorithm. And since where's the math in the math circle? We did a little bit, but here's the math coming in. So the essential idea is pretty simple to understand. It's just these 5 steps. The complexity of calculation and why that factoring large primes is what we'll talk about a little bit. But let's think about, so choose 2 large primes. The largest prime I can think of is 3 and 7. So we'll do an example with 3 and 7, okay? But you know, with 21, you can always factorize 21. Everybody knows how to factorize 21. But imagine that this being done with a way, way larger number, right? So we are just looking at that integer, which is the product of 2 primes. For those of you who know number theory, this is the famous Euler-Totient function. But forget about the names. This is just p minus 1 times q minus 1, which in our case of 3 and 7 would just be 2 times 6, which is 12, for example, right? Now we choose an e which is less than this 12, such that e and 12 share no common factors. So for example, could I choose e to be 3? No, because 3 and 12 are not, and that's called being relatively prime. That's just a fancy way of saying that, right? Could I choose e to be 5? Yes. 5 does not share a common factor with 12, and 5 is less than 12, so that would work, right? Your public key that everybody and their dog would know are these numbers e and n, okay? Now, could you tell me, if I told you 21, could you calculate phi for me without being able to factorize 21? Phi was p minus 1 times q minus 1. You know the product pq, right? But short of factorizing n, could you know p minus 1 times q minus 1? To know p minus 1 times q minus 1 or phi, you would have to factorize n. And then from each factor, you subtract that 1, right? And that's the whole point of factorizing large numbers, because to calculate phi is critical in what I'll just do, and I'll show you where it's critical. And you cannot do that unless you're able to factorize this n. So you know the n, but you don't know its factors, okay? All right, so how does it go? So, all right, that's the how, yeah. Right, so let's take examples, right? So let's take my birthday. Had I known it was your birthday, I would have put your birthday. I just found out on the way here that it's 15th of June, so 15/6, right? I want to encode this using E, N, and that phi, right? Those are the 3 things I have in mind. E and N are known to everyone, so everybody could encode their birthdays. So my code for my date is simply dd, which is 15 to the e, which was 5, in modulo n. What was n? 21, right? So modulo n just means you divide. This just means when you divide dd to the power n, which is 15 to the 5, which is some big number, and you divide it by n, what's the remainder you get? So for example, what would be 15 square mod of 20? 15 square is 225 mod of 20. So when you divide 225 with 20, what do you get? 5. So 15 to the 5 mod of 20 would give you some number. And if everybody has their cell phones, there's a wonderful website where you can do all these calculations and many more. It's called wolframalpha.com. And if you want to play along here and open up that website on your cell phones, Imran, could you put Wolfram Alpha? Okay, great. Okay, so let's just stay here for just a second, Mohsen. Oh, back to the slides, please. Thank you, thank you. So this would be coded as 15 to the whatever I chose, E modulus of n, modulo n, and y, this would be the month, 6 to the E mod n. The remainder I get when I divide 6 to the power E, 6 in this case E was 5, 6 to the 5 by 21, right? That would be my secret message. Now I have to unscramble this omelette. And herein is the whole wonderful thing. So this, everything on this board, except of course the secret, my birth date, would be known. E and N would be known to everyone, and X, X, Y, Y would be known to everyone. Right? Any snooper on the internet could pick this up. Yet to get 5 and 6, how do I get 5 and 6? Okay. So I also have a secret private key, D. E has a friend called D, and this D is basically the modular inverse of E. We'll see what this means. So, right here. Okay. So, what this means is that when you multiply E by D and take the mod with phi n, you get 1 left over. I'll do a lot of exercises of this with you in just a moment, okay? But D is a number you can obtain if you knew phi, because it's in this mod that this is the modular inverse, right? So without knowing phi, you could not calculate D. So right now, that's all you need to think. There's a number n, which was the multiply of 2 primes. From there, I calculate a phi, which was p minus 1 times q minus 1. Then I chose an E such that E and that phi were relatively prime. And then I just encoded by date to the power E mod n, month to the power E mod n. To decode, I will simply use that XX, which was the code of my date, to the power D in mod of n. And similarly, to get the month, I would month को कैसे code किया था? I coded month by y. Month y was month to the power E. To decode, I'll just calculate that coded message to the power D in mod of n. And I will recover my original message. And we will see it here, right here, okay? And the reason this works is a wonderful little theorem given by Euler called Euler's little theorem. Oh, sorry, my bad. Fermat's little theorem. That's why it works. And Imran will maybe talk about it once we have time at the end, okay? Again, the whole point is that without knowing phi, you cannot calculate D. And phi is very, very, very non-trivial to know. I mean, I think what one gets stuck is when you're thinking of numbers, you're thinking of small numbers. You think, okay, I can hit and miss to get the prime, right? But to calculate factoring is just non-trivial. Okay, so let's do an example. Oh, this is the numbers which we'll do with Wolfram alpha. So P is 7, Q is 11, for example. So PQ is 77. What's phi here? 6 into 10, which is 60. What E's could I choose? Could I choose E to be 5, as I chose before? Why not? Because 5 and 60 are not relatively prime. They share a common factor, right? Could I choose it to be 13? Yes. I could have chosen it to be 13. Could I have chosen it to be 11? Yes. Could I have chosen it to be 17, which I did? Yes, I could, right? So you can do it with the other choices and see how it comes out. So XX is 15 to the 17 in mod 77, right? Now this means you raise 15 to the 17th power. This is a huge calculation. And one of the things that these RSA guys did was to give nice ways of doing what's called modular exponentiation. You could do this on a piece of paper and pencil right now. In just a moment, you would be able to do it. But for now, let's go to our friend Wolfram alpha. So remember, we have to do 15 to the 17 and 6 to the 17, mod 77. Mohsin, thank you for, okay. So Mohsin, could you do 15, just write 15 to the 17 mod parentheses 77. So Wolfram alpha is a syntax-free language. You can pretty much type in anything. It tries to understand what you're saying. And enter, please. Yeah. Oh, scroll up, Mohsin. I think it's hidden. It's 71. So the code for my day of birth is 71. And similarly, where did that go? 6 to the 17 mod of 77 would give you, if people have, I would really like you to do that. It's very comforting to see that it does work. 17 mod of 77. So you raise to the E, 6 to the 17, 1 7, mod of 77. Yeah. Okay, and 41. So 71 was the previous one, I think. Yeah. 71, 41 is the code. How do I recover the code? I need to find the modular inverse. So modular inverse of what? E. But in what mod? N. Not N, but phi of N. Right? Phi of N. So what is phi of N here? 60. Mohsin, could you go to Wolfram alpha? So what does a modular inverse mean? We don't have a board. So think about this. If I did mod of 7, right? And I looked at modular inverse of 2 in mod of 7 is a number such that when you multiply 2 by it and you divide by 7, you get 1 remainder. Right? So it's a 2, modular inverse of 2 in mod of 7 is a number such that when you multiply that number by 2 and divide by 7, then the remainder is 1. But 9 is not, it's not a number in mod 7 universe. Right? So only numbers up to 6 live in mod 7. Right? So it has to be something between. 4 is. What about 3? Does 3 have a modular inverse in mod 7?
Yes.
What would it be? So a number you multiply by 3, when you divide by 7, you get 1 left over. So 3 5s are 15, right? And when you divide by 7, what's left over? 1. So 5 is the modular inverse of 3 in mod 7, and 3 is the modular inverse of 5, of course. Mohsin, can you type 2 into x is equal to 1 mod 7? So what was it that we found the modular inverse of 2 is? 4. Okay. What about 3? Can you type 3 into x? So I want x such that when I multiply 3 by x and divide by 7, the leftover is 1, and the answer is 5. Now back to our problem. We wanted to find the modular inverse of E. But in what mod? Mod phi. Phi was 60, E was 17. I wish I had a board, so I know it's a mouthful, but
Raise the screen and use the board.
but then how would we see this stuff? So it's can you go back to the slides just to recap what we yeah. So a slide back, please, Mohsin. Yes. So see, D was that number such that when you multiplied E by D, then you got 1 as a remainder when you divide it by phi. Or in other words, D is the modular inverse of E in mod phi. Right? That's the trick. So can you go to, yes, here. So type, so we need to find the modular inverse of 17, but in what? In mod 60. Mohsin, can you go and type Oh, very good. Yes, this is what we want, right? And the modular inverse is 53. And you can see when you multiply 17 by 53 and divide by 60, the remainder would be 1. You can check. Okay. All right. So our D is now what? 53 is our D. My claim is if you raise 71 to the 53 and in the space mod n, and n was 77, you better get 15. So Mohsin, can you try that? No, not 17. What was that? 71. 71 to the 53 mod of 77, I think, was n, right? This is all in mod n. And the answers. So you were able to decode it. And to decode 41, remember that the other one was 41, I think? To the 53. Yeah, 53 remains the same because D is the same. Mod of 77 would give you, it gave you 6, right? So now you can play this game all you want by taking different E's, and usually in practice, E is taken to be around 65,000. You take it to be one of that Fermat primes, 2 to the, yeah, one of the Fermat's primes, right? So anyhow, that was, so why does it work? As I said, this idea it works is because what you essentially did, could you go one slide back, please? Right. So dd was xx to the d, right? And xx itself was dd to the power e. So this is basically, I'm saying dd is equal to dd to the power e to the d in mod of n. So that's basically Fermat's little theorem that which
शुरू में आप बता रहे थे जो टेबल सीजर साइफर के लिए बनाया था आपने एडिशन, वो एक एडिशन टेबल था. अब इस केस में हमने मल्टीप्लिकेशन देख लिया, ठीक है? तो और ये प्राइम फील्ड्स में आ जाती है. तो इस तरह के जो स्ट्रक्चर्स होते हैं वो दो ऑपरेशंस के साथ आ जाते हैं, अंडर एडिशन भी और अंडर मल्टीप्लिकेशन भी, और इनको हम अक्सर फील्ड्स का नाम देते हैं, प्राइम फील्ड्स का, और ये बहुत ज़्यादा फिर यूज़ होता है.
एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है जो कि आई थिंक इस RSA जो आप लोगों ने इंक्रिप्शन और डिक्रिप्शन का मेथड देखा है उसमें प्राइम की बहुत इंपॉर्टेंस है. एंड बहुत ज़्यादा जोर दिया जाता है टू फाइंड द नंबर्स जो कि बिगेस्ट प्राइम. आई थिंक एवरीवन नोज के बिगेस्ट प्राइम से रेलिवेंट पर्टिकुलरली ट्विंस प्राइम, मर्सिन प्राइम, देयर इज़ अ होल स्टोरी गोइंग ऑन एंड होल लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर वर्किंग इन फाइंडिंग द प्राइम. जो सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट एक क्वेश्चन है जो अदनान ने पूछा था, अगर मैं अभी आपको कह देता हूँ कि कोई 30 डिजिट नंबर है एंड आप मुझे बता सकते हैं कि ये प्राइम है या नहीं, दिस इज़ अ वेरी वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट क्वेश्चन. इवन 20 डिजिट नंबर का भी नहीं. सो द मेन थिंग इज़ दैट कि मैथमेटिक्स में नंबर थ्योरी एक एरिया है और उसके अंदर फर्मा's लिटिल थ्योरम है. फर्मा's लिटिल थ्योरम इज़ क्वाइट अ सिंपल थ्योरम. इट सेज दैट कि आपके पास कोई भी नंबर अगर प्राइम है, आई रिपीट, अगर कोई भी नंबर प्राइम है p, तो इट विल डिवाइड एनी ए फॉर एनी नंबर a. उसकी पावर आपने p लेनी है एंड माइनस a करना है. जैसे फॉर इंस्टेंस आई क्लेम दैट 5 इज़ प्राइम, राइट? सो एनी नंबर, प्लीज़ आप लोगों के पास पेजेस हैं, एनी नंबर यू कैन राइट 2 टू द रेस पर 5 एंड माइनस 2, यानी a टू द रेस पर p माइनस a. जस्ट चेक कि क्या 5 उसको डिवाइड कर रहा है. सिमिलरली अच्छा यही काम मैं 5 के बजाय 4 के साथ करता हूँ. 4 के साथ करें, 2 टू द रेस पर 4 माइनस 2, क्या 4 उसको डिवाइड कर रहा है? नहीं कर रहा. ओके, ये जो फर्मा's लिटिल थ्योरम है ना, दिस इज़ अ वेरी वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग टूल. ये हेल्प करता है हमें आइडेंटिफाई करने की कि आपका जो गिवन नंबर है, जो नंबर जिसको आप चेक करना चाह रहे हैं, checking कि whether the given number is a prime number or not. So for many years, Fermat's little theorem has been used as a tool whether a given number is a prime number or not by just चेकिंग इसमें कोई बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ा नंबर नहीं चाहिए, आप 2 के साथ भी कर सकते हैं, 3 के साथ भी कर सकते हैं। अच्छा हुआ ये कि जब ये काम करना शुरू हुए, कंप्यूटिंग एडवांस होती चली गई, तो सूडो प्राइम्स अपीयर हुए। यहाँ पे किसी को सूडो प्राइम्स का आइडिया है इस रूम में? ओके, हैव यू एवर हर्ड ऑफ? अच्छा, कुछ ऐसे नंबर हैं जो प्राइम ना होने के बावजूद, क्योंकि फर्मा's लिटिल थ्योरम ये कहता है इफ़ p इज़ प्राइम देन इट विल सेटिस्फाई दिस प्रॉपर्टी, इट डिडंट से अदर वे अराउंड। यानी अगर कोई इस प्रॉपर्टी को सेटिस्फाई करता है तो वो प्राइम होगा, इट डजंट से दैट। लेकिन निगेशन के लिए दिस इज़ वेरी गुड टूल। एंड देन हुआ ये कि कुछ नंबर अपीयर होना शुरू हो गए जो इस कंडीशन के, इस क्राइटेरिया को सेटिस्फाई करते थे फॉर एनी ए, बट वो प्राइम नहीं थे। एंड वन सच नंबर इज 378, आई थिंक आई हैव रिटन, एंड these numbers are called pseudo prime. I'm sorry, I don't remember it, so I wrote it here. So 341 was the first number, and जो कि बिल्कुल भी और फिर उसके बाद 561, 645 is not prime, but it satisfies this particular property. एंड फिर सूडो प्राइम्स के ऊपर भी काम करना शुरू हुए लोग, एंड सूडो प्राइम्स को ढूंढते रहे, एंड नाउ वी नो दैट देयर आर इनफाइनाइटली मैनी सूडो प्राइम्स। एंड जो प्राइम इस प्रॉपर्टी को सेटिस्फाई करते हैं वो यूजुअली से दैट दे आर फर्मस प्राइम, एंड सूडो प्राइम्स आर आल्सो देयर। बट द बिजनेस ऑफ नंबर थ्योरी, द बेसिक एंशियंट वर्क, इट कम्स इनटू बिजनेस। एंड ये जो पूरी की पूरे क्रिप्टो का जो पूरे का पूरा बिजनेस है, जो RSA और जो क्वांटम सुपरमेसी है, वो बेसिकली इसी के ऊपर है कि आप किसी भी कोड को कैसे ब्रेक कर सकते हैं। पर्टिकुलरली किसी भी कोड से मुराद ये है कि RSA को, और दिस कम्प्लीटली डिपेंड्स ऑन कि आपको एक ऐसा एल्गोरिथम चाहिए जो कि क्विकली फैक्टराइज कर सके। ओके, स्टार्टिंग स्लाइड्स में
इमरान, ये जो फर्मा's लिटिल थ्योरम था, क्या फर्मा ने खुद प्रूव किया था या ये भी बाद में शायद आई थिंक आयलर ने प्रूव किया था? क्योंकि फर्मा की एक हैबिट थी कि वो बहुत सारे इस तरह के रिजल्ट्स ना अपनी किसी नोटबुक में लिख देता था, लेकिन उसके प्रूफ नहीं थे। ठीक है, तो बहुत सारे प्रूफ जो है वो बाद में लोगों ने किए हैं। तो आई थिंक इसका भी जो फर्मा's लिटिल थ्योरम था, ये भी उसने खुद प्रूव नहीं किया था, बाद में आई थिंक आयलर ने इसका प्रूव किया था।
वो मैंने भी बहुत सारा काम किया है जिसके प्रूफ मैंने एक किताब में लिख कर छोड़ दिया है। So if I die, at least that bit would be left. Okay, so again, there was a lot of stuff, but I think we're out of time, and I think people might be very unhappy by now with all my mumblings. So there is just let me tell you a couple of things quickly. I promise that. Again, this is something I've been harping about, that factoring is not easy when n is large, and we now know why factoring was important. To get that phi of n, the totient function, you couldn't get it without finding the prime factors of n. What the attack people do, how do you attack something? You're snooping around, you find e and n. Now you need to find d. To find d, you need to find phi. To find phi, well, I want to factor n. So I could then take the one of the first factor, one of the second factor, and multiply it, right? That would be my phi. So there's a brute force method that you try all numbers, divide n by all numbers up to the square root of n. And for sure, its prime factor would appear in one of them, right? If it's not prime itself. The problem with this is that if you have a number which is 250 digits long, it's going to take forever to do this. Right? It's probably everybody here is going to die by the time, or the universe might not even exist by the time it happens, right? So there are other cleverer ways, but essentially on classic computers, you are doing something like a brute force attack. Okay? Then in I think 83, nobody cared about too much about Diffie-Hellman and about the problem of this being broken, because people understood that a brute force attack will not work in the amount of time we have in this universe, especially when your numbers are sufficiently long. But I think in 83, Peter Shor came up with this idea that if you had a quantum computer, then he gave an algorithm called Shor's algorithm, which could factorize these big numbers in a very small amount of time. And therein is the whole, and there the whole thing took off with quantum computers. Everybody and their dog wanted to be in the business, because if you could do this, if you could factorize n, then you have basically destroyed the most commonly used encryption method. So, and everything depends upon it, right? Then you have to have newer methods of encryption. And there are algorithms which are supposed to be safe against attacks through a quantum computer as well. But I really encourage people to look at Shor's algorithm, and there's a document with Peter Shor himself. I don't have time to go over it here, maybe someday. And by the way, my interest in RSA was it came back after 20 years. I looked at this when I was a student, and then I was watching this documentary about Peter Shor, and then I said, all right, let me see what RSA was all about. And so how do you do 15 to the 17? 15 to the 17 is still pretty easy. How do you do 578 to the 2,310,000? How do you do these exponentiations? Mod n, okay, whatever n was, right? So there is a cool way, a cool calculational way of doing what's called modular exponentiation. I will leave the slides for people to work through it. My claim is you could do 15 to the 17 mod 77 by pencil sitting right here. I did it when I was making these slides. And how do you get the modular multiplicative inverse, right? That was the second thing. And my answer to both of these is I used Wolfram Alpha. That's a good answer, but that's not very efficient. There are efficient algorithms which do both of these for you, and there are a few slides which are basically devoted to doing all of these. I won't go over them, but I'll leave the slides. This was calculating that modular inverse, which we saw, that what is that x when you multiply it by 17, that it's 1 mod of 60, right? This is what we needed, and so on and so forth. The last thing I want to tell you is that with Shor's algorithm, this whole business of quantum computing came about, but there are the naysayers, as of always, and those, I'm going to a slide, okay. So this was the idea, that here's the number of digits, this is Shor's algorithm, right? This is the number of computations or operations needed. It's pretty flat. It's a very good result for us, right? On the other hand, classical computers, look, this is 10 to the 5 and this is 10 to the 30. This is just crazy difference, right? And the way I understood it was when somebody told me the difference between a million and a billion, which is just 10 to the 6 and 10 to the 9, in 1 million seconds, there are 11 days. In 1 billion seconds, there are 32 years. It's vastly different. The power of exponential is just awesome, right? And this is not just 3 orders of magnitude, this is like 27 orders of magnitude. This means you can't do it, essentially. It's the end of the universe, you can't do it, right? And this means you can do it within nice enough of time. This is like 10 to the 5 computation, a million computations is nothing. It's obviously, right? There's some constant, but.
In this case, you just only use the first, just 2 prime numbers.
Yes.
This calculation is just for 2 primes.
This is, yes, it's splitting, factorizing 2 primes.
Okay,
which
what if we have, like, let's suppose,
I think 3
three
primes is not that difficult, so this
Really?
doesn't change very much.
Okay.
This doesn't change. Okay, so quantum computing is the solution to everything or the scariest thing. It turns out that quantum computers or qubits, which are used for computing, are just crazily unstable. You have to bring your whole system down pretty close to absolute zero. And there are lots of errors that get propagated. These errors do get propagated in classical computers. If you're a computer science student, then you know that error correcting codes are sent as well. There's something like that, right? So could you have quantum error correcting codes? That was a question. Forget the mumbo jumbo. The big question was, could quantum computers become reliable and robust and operate at temperatures which are reasonable to achieve, so we are not spending billions of dollars factorizing 100, okay? And so there's a very famous talk that was given in our John Conway seminar at LUMS by, you should look it up, Gil Kalai, and he claims that this error propagation or the errors that keep popping up and instability of the qubits is going to make it impossible for technology. So it's not just a technological thing, because if it was simply technological, then by and by you could solve it, right? But he argues, and you have to listened to his talk that quantum computing will not happen, at least in the foreseeable future. So, yay for credit cards. But you know, it's something that other people don't believe, and there's billions of dollars being spent on building quantum computers. There are quantum computers, and as I said, the big problem is I typed it in Google, by the way, a few weeks ago. What is the biggest number that has been factored using Shor's algorithm? I think it's 27 or 26 or something. Right? So it shows that in principle you could use it on a quantum computer to factorize, but is it of practical use? Right now it's not. And the whole thing is that there's this dangling carrot that very soon it's going to achieve that. That's the quantum supremacy, that these calculations could be done at reasonable temperatures and prices, hence prices. That classical computers could not. So thank you very much for tolerating me. I know there was a lot of, I talk very loudly. Sometimes I feel like a shill, you know, mele mein shill nahi hote selling stuff. So, but I'm selling math. It's worth being a shill for maths. So thank you very much.
Okay. Are there any questions from the audience? Okay, we try to cover too many things in one lecture, and we are really very sorry for that, because we crash everything. We try to give as much as we could in one lecture, starting with very basic school level crypto to very serious business of quantum supremacy. Okay. Any questions from the audience?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for a wonderful session. Can you tell me something about cryptocurrency? How is it encoded? What is the cryptography behind like Bitcoin and things like that?
Right, so it's blockchains are, so it's, no, so off the top of my head, no, I cannot be very clear about how it's done. I just know they use some kind of a hashing function, so which is, they do encode things in blocks of equal sizes, but, and I know the hashing function they use, but it's a name. I can't give you details right now, so not right now, thank you.
It has something to do with the factorization of large integers, and particularly finding big primes. So this is a business where the whole crypto thing is really relying on. Disclaimer, we are not the expert of it. Yeah, we have to be very careful.
What is it about Shor's algorithm that makes it so different from the classical method of doing this?
Right, so basically the bits that are used in classical computers come in 0 and 1. They're two states, right? In a quantum computer, bits can exist in superposition of both states. So one, which is how they say that 1 and 0 can coexist at the same. So you can code in lots more there.
So it's entanglement basically that.
That's how it's used, yes.
Okay.
And then the point is, how do you distangle and get the right, what's it called, projection, right? That's
Okay. So entanglement is a phenomenon in quantum computing, but what is it specific about the algorithm? Just that it used entangled states, or is there something beyond it?
yeah, so let me think about that question. So, so so somehow they are able to get, they're able to get lots of answers out of just applying one single operation somehow. That's the easiest way I could sort of say it, right? And there's something, so if you're really into what it's happening, there's something called the quantum Fourier transform. So just read up a little bit about that, and that's where that answer would come
Thank
from.
you.
Yeah.
Sir, do you think that using more qubits we can minimize the error and achieve the factorization of large numbers?
So, oh, right. So I'm not a physicist, but I'm right now convinced that it's possibly not technologically feasible in the foreseeable future to do that. There's just the noise problem is hard to solve. The errors, how do you send those error correcting codes is hard to do. So I think the technical problems are right now pretty insurmountable. And imagine they've been working on it since 20 years, right? And the 26, that's what they factorized. So that would be my evidence. But again, I'm no expert in physics. I just, I listen to people.
In the talk of Gil Kilai, which is recorded, if you Google it, so Gil Kilai is a strong opposer of quantum supremacy. He has already had a meeting with Google and write a lot in New York Times, as well as he has a lot, and he works in the area of enumerative combinatorics and all these kind of things. And he has shown it mathematically, this is not achievable, the quantum supremacy. But on the other side, millions of dollars is being spent in building quantum computers to do this factorization stuff, to break RSA. So
this is also a plug. Please go to the LUMS John Conway Seminar website and look at Gil Kilai's talk.
publicity.
What Wolfram is saying about that? Any idea?
I think after I read a new kind of science, I stopped listening to it.
Sir, can you give us any examples of quantum safe algorithms which cannot even be broken by quantum computers? What do they look like?
So we could do that. I can't tell you off the cuff, but I could prep a few slides, come back, do another circle on a quantum algorithm, right? So which is quantum safe here.
Okay.
So yeah.
Just to tell the audience who is online and who is sitting here, neither me nor Adnan works in this particular direction. So our research are completely on different fronts. So I work in algebra, and he works in dynamical system, mathematical modeling. So in mathematical circle, we try to collect all these kind of information and try to give it to the school kids. And this is all we have discussed with school kids. And this is the whole purpose of LUMS Math Circle. And in Math Circle, you can bring any big problem and just cut it into pieces, small pieces, make it a bit, you can say, bounty, make it sweet for the students to understand and digest so that they can compute, and they get the idea and then lead them to the big problem and leave them with the big problem. And this is the whole idea of LUMS Math Circle, what we are doing. And definitely quantum supremacy is a big question of the time.
Yeah, so just to follow up on that, these slides which we did was, we did them with 8th, 9th, 10th graders. And I don't know how much they hated me after that, but I think they got 50 to 60% of it. So the idea with these things is to just see that the fundamental ideas behind this kind of math are not too hard to get. The nuances would be hard. I mean, proving Fermat's little theorem, proving it might be a little bit difficult, but I hope that at least this algorithm made sense, the one I showed, that how it operates, right? And then the why is, of course, the harder bit. So.
Can you tell a little bit about the Enigma codes used by the Germans?
Yeah, in fact, there were two slides which were taken off, and which was about Alan Turing and Enigma code, and there was a kind of, so again, this was also a symmetric code. It is not asymmetric. So there was a router which was used, and for every digit there was 26 options, and it was keep on changing. And again, I think in the imitation game, if you have seen, they try to in capture. It can't be broken by a human. Only machine can broke the Enigma code, which was the idea of Alan Turing at that particular time. So anyways, this is highly sophisticated one. That's why we avoided it.
हमारा आइडिया
by the 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
हमारा वैसे प्लान था कि एनिग्मा की जो नंबर फाइल एक यूट्यूब चैनल है, उस पर 2 बड़ी अच्छी वीडियोस थी, मिलियन व्यूज़ भी हैं उनके, तो वो भी दिखा देते ताकि इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस बड़े अच्छे तरीके से टैकल किए जा सके. लेकिन वही है, टाइम की कमी की वजह से.
Sir, if quantum conditions are not met for for qubits, the temperatures and the hardware, if it's not met and there's a lot of unreliability about factorizing large numbers, then will we be stuck with this classical method for always if that doesn't work out?
So the problem with quantum computing is not that there's any unreliability in factorizing. Once you are sure that your quantum computer is functioning, then sure the algorithm will factorize in a short amount of time. That the issue is right now you cannot be sure. You think of it. It's a top. It's a spinning top. You kick it, and it sort of bends a little. But then you want to measure, when was it bent? How long was it bent? What angle was it bent? But before you're able to measure it, it stands back again. This is the problem. So can you prevent it from happening? Can your measurements be fast enough and reliable enough so you can measure when the top was hit, how much did it bend? That's the kind of thing they are trying to achieve, the physicists, okay? That's my cartoon picture, by the way. Anything I say about math, trust me 80%. Anything I say about anything else, trust me 20%. Because for other subjects, I always think in terms of cartoons. So, yeah. So did I answer your question or did I answer a different question? Okay.
Yeah, regarding to RSA, at the moment people are trying to break, to get the command on the encryption and decryption. So anyone who would be able to get the quantum supremacy, so everything they can decrypt, and this is the biggest threat we are having.
Actually, it's good that people are not able to break the RSA security. Okay, it's good because all our communication, financial transactions, other communication is secured using this. Everything is coded up with this, right? So if people were able to factorize that N, right, and get the D, then any information, so somebody's sending network packets on networks which are encoded, right? Then anytime there is snooper, and snoopers can exist on networks, it's not very hard, and he picks up N and E and your message and can factorize, then imagine your message is not secure, right? So it's not a bad thing that these things cannot be broken. It's a good thing for us, actually. So once they are broken, we need better methods of encoding, I think. That's the...
But they will be broken by quantum computers. So,
as I said, there are people, serious people whose judgment I trust. That's how science works, right? A lot of times, who say that the difficulties are pretty insurmountable, at least in the foreseeable future. So I'm sold on this. Maybe I'm wrong. As I said, I mean, I'm not a physicist, so 20%. That's how much you can trust me on this. Okay.
By the way, this kind of thing got started quite earlier, as Adnan mentioned, 1988. There was a person whose name was Carl Pomerantz. He estimated it costs around $10 million to factorize 144 digit at that time in 1988, and $100 billion to factorize a 200-digit number. And an answer to your question about cryptocurrency, so the value of the cryptocurrency is determined through these kind of factorization. This is the way they are gauging that 1 Bitcoin is equal to this one, 2 Bitcoin. So this kind of work was first done by Carl Pomerantz, and you can read more about it. And that's why people start believing that even the factorization of a larger digit can be determined, a currency can be based on the factorization of larger numbers. And that's why the idea of Bitcoin came into being. So this is a serious business now. And this is school math, just factorization of numbers.
Imran, how it is linked with this famous problem, unsolved problem, Riemann hypothesis?
This is completely on a different note.
Okay.
Definitely, again, people are trying to find big primes. The bigger the prime, the difficult is to find. And in finding the prime, so saturation of the prime numbers is linked with Riemann zeta function, which gives the saturation of the prime numbers. And Riemann zeta function has a mystery. And we're people trying to understand, and that is still an unsolved problem. And that is linked with the prime distribution.
There is also a very a handsome award for that.
Yeah, $1
Waiting-
million.
$1 million. You can
Everything is done. Thank you very much for your patience and for very
Only-
intelligent question.
online questions.
And again, a disclaimer: we are not the expert of this particular area. If there is some answers which go beyond our scope and we say something, so this is a disclaimer: we are not an expert. We are here to just entice you, excite you about the subject and how basic mathematics is so powerful in this particular business of encryption and decryption. Thank you very much.
जो हमें ऑनलाइन देख रहे हैं मैं उनको और जो यहाँ पर भी मौजूद हैं बस मैं एक इजाफा करना चाहूँगा कि और मुझे पूरा यकीन है कि आपने आज का सेशन मेरी तरह एंजॉय किया होगा। पिछले बरस 2 नवंबर को इन्हीं तीनों हमारे दोस्तों ने ये मैथ सर्कल के ही बैनर तले इसी तरह की एक दिलचस्प एक्टिविटी की थी दैट इज़ टाइटल्ड फन गेम्स एंड मैथमेटिक्स। आप जाइएगा दी ब्लैक होल के यूट्यूब पेज पे आपको वहाँ पे ये मिल जाएगी। इसके अलावा डॉक्टर सरमद अब्बासी भी मैथमेटिक्स को बहुत दिलचस्प और आसान अंदाज में यहाँ पे लेक्चर्स डिलीवर करते हैं, वो भी आप यूट्यूब चैनल पे हमारे देख सकते हैं। कमिंग फ्राइडे को डॉक्टर सरमद का अगला लेक्चर है, प्लीज़ डोंट मिस इट। बाकी आज का जो सेशन था इससे हमें मदद मिली जो एवोल्यूशन है ह्यूमन कम्युनिकेशन को समझने में, सिक्रेसी, प्राइवेसी और सिक्योरिटी को समझने में। 2 हैं बस मैं आखिरी नुक्ते के तौर पे ये कहूँगा कि एक तो ये कि आप लाहौर से आते हैं, आई विश आप यहाँ इस्लामाबाद में होते तो ये ज़्यादा फ्रिक्वेंटली जो है ये एक्टिविटीज़ हो सकती हैं। लेकिन थैंक यू टू नकीब और बर्थडे विश एक मरतबा फिर ऑनलाइन जो हमें देख रहे हैं वो भी आपको बर्थडे विश कर रहे हैं। आप जब भी आते हैं ये एक्टिविटी करते हैं, सो नाइस ऑफ यू। आई विश कि हमारे जो तालीमी इदारे हैं वो छोटी क्लासों में छोटे बच्चों को भी इस तरीके से जो है उनमें दिलचस्पी जो है उजागर करें मैथमेटिक्स और एक क्यूरियोसिटी लाएं। और ये जो है ये तो अलमिया है हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम का, बट वी आर ट्राइंग, आप लोग ट्राई कर रहे हैं। विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच।
सॉरी देयर इज वन लास्ट थिंग आई फॉरगॉट, वो एक स्लाइड, बहुत सारी स्लाइडें चलने में रह गई। एक चैलेंज प्रॉब्लम है, एक प्राइम दिया हुआ है मैंने पब्लिक की दी हुई है और कोडेड मैसेज दिया हुआ है, तो प्लीज़ ट्राई टू डी कोड एंड सेंड मी द डी कोडेड मैसेज। इट्स नकीब की बर्थडे नहीं है आज का दिन नहीं, इट्स द बर्थडे ऑफ समवन वी नो एंड लव, तो प्लीज़ डू ट्राई टू डू दैट। इट वुड बी वेरी हार्ट वार्मिंग टू सी एनी एफर्ट्स इन दैट डायरेक्शन। तो उसमें आपको वो प्राइम को फैक्टराइज खुद करना है। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू।